And then just on that point, I just wanted to say, Moni, on the point that you just made, the problem with Shadowlands wasn't that it didn't have interesting stories. I'm right there with you. I was very excited for the story of Shadowlands. I thought the story of Shadowlands was looking like a great story to start off with. And then what ended up happening was we had all of this setup, all of this, oh my god, who's the Primus? What's happening in the Shadowlands? Why is everything broken? Who broke the Arbiter? What exactly is the Jailer after? Sylvanas told us right at the end there that, you know, when next you see me, you will understand. So there was that whole mystery moment or thing brewing with Sylvanas that we all sort of looked forward to and really wanted to know what's going on here. I mean, it's as if it all just sort of fizzled down to, oh, you know, whatever. You know, Sylvanas, actually, you wouldn't understand when next you see her. She doesn't have any, like, deeper thing to her. The things that we were told, Ian, for example, saying, look, you have to understand, Sylvanas isn't just Garrosh. She's not just going to turn around and apologize, you know, and you know, it ended up being exactly that, right? She just turned around and sort of apologized. You know, it ended up being this, well, not that Garrosh apologized, Ian's specific words or his exact words were, she's not like Garrosh. She's not going to be cornered and fight and imprisoned and stuff like this. She wouldn't allow that to happen. And in the end, that's exactly what she allowed to happen. So a lot of story was there and there was a lot of potential for story to be there, but it just felt like eventually they kind of forgot that was the story that we kind of, you know, that there was a story that was promised and that story was just given up on. But from from an objective perspective, there was a lot of potential in the story of Shadowlands that just never really came to fruition. So yeah, just
I think one of the biggest letdowns was just story-wise, the whole concept of the sigils of the covenants, because they initially when Zuval is gathering them, you know, we meet up back in the Arbiter's hall, and the Winter Queen explains when the covenants were first made, the first ones gave them these sigils that supposedly represent their right to function as a covenant in the Shadowlands. So they're a badge of office and a key in one. And then as Duval is collecting them, when we free the Primus, he's just like, oh, well, we'll just remake our sigils. And I'm like, what? That's very anticlimactic. We'll just make the spare keys.
But I think that's exactly what proved the point, right? We said from the beginning, on this channel specifically, I told you what the expansion was gonna look like. Because we had leaks from within Blizzard on what the exact expansions were gonna look like. I told you what the exact patch cycle was gonna be like. And then when the first patch came out, I told you that it was cut and that this was thrown together because they didn't have enough time. Now, I think when you look at when you look at Preach's interviews with Blizzard, you sort of learn why. Blizzard didn't want to make Shadowlands when they were making Shadowlands. You see, they started making Shadowlands even before Battle for Azeroth came out. They were already working on Shadowlands. And they were so deep into development on Shadowlands that when Battle for Azeroth came out and it was clear that it had now failed, there wasn't enough time for them to shift. They couldn't then suddenly turn around and say, well, okay, we're not going to do this. Let's just go a different direction. Most of the systems were already built and you know, it was time to start finishing it. So what ended up happening is Blizzard was forced to work on this expansion that they didn't want to work on. Not anymore, because they realized that they were building an expansion that was about to fail. I genuinely, go back and listen to Preach's interview with Blizzard Entertainment. Listen to when he speaks to Ian. Listen to what Ian says there, and it starts making perfect sense. They knew. Like, imagine how that should feel, right? You are making this expansion. And every single person that's working on it knows that you are about to put out an expansion that will fail. Because everything that people have been complaining about in Battle for Azeroth is still there in Shadowlands and sort of dialed up. But it's too late. You can't turn away now. You can't turn it out. You can't turn it back. You can't do anything. You just have to sort of stick with it because these are the systems that you came up with from the beginning. And without these systems, it's just not going to work. So I think they gave up.
Oh.
Right? I think they gave up and they just went like, sure, there's a lot more story here and there's a lot more patches that we wanted to bring out, but can we really afford to spend this much time on patch cycles and things when we know that it's not going to save anything? We know that this expansion isn't going to be brought back from the brink of death. We just have to get going and get Dragonflight out there and make sure that Dragonflight is working as it's intended to work. And that cut content does shine through, right? It shows that content was cut. And at the end of the day, you know, that's just how it rolls. I think that's what makes it difficult to have a game that you're bringing out every 2 years. You have basically this entire pipeline, like this content pipeline that you're working on. And that means that if you fail in the current moment, you're fucked at least for the next 4 years. Because you couldn't foresee that what you were making was going to fail, right? You just realized that, oh shit, this had failed. But you can't just turn around now. There's a content pipeline here. It's already done. You have to let that pipeline clean itself out and then just start pumping in new things on this end and hope that people stick around long enough to get to the new things that you've actually fixed. And here we are in Dragonflight, and I can say it was worth the wait. Sorry, Morny, I kept interrupting you there.
Oh, no. You're absolutely right. It was definitely worth the wait. Yeah, put in that light, Shadowlands makes a lot of sense. Like, they really fell flat on the big points they wanted to make. The connective tissue, though, was phenomenal. Like, if you go into individual questing zones, especially whoever the heck is in charge of doing Ysera's storyline, just knows what to do, because God, from
so
Legion to Shadowlands, and I haven't done the part for her in Dragonflight yet. I'm grinding my ass off to get to it.
Bro,
oh my God,
Dragonflight
Ysera.
one is the one. The Dragonflight one is the one.
Yeah, I am
phenomenal.
so looking forward to it.
I have a video coming about that, by the way. A huge video.
Sweet.
Because Ysera, her story, I think it's like a lot of people looking at the Ysera storyline and they're thinking to themselves, oh, what the hell? You know? I'm going to spoil it a little here because most people already know how to play it out, right?
Spoilers don't bother me.
All right. Ysera is brought back, right? As everyone knows, Malfurion is sacrificed. Ysera comes back. And then Ysera just says, well, I've changed so much, I can no longer be the aspect. And so Marithra, her daughter, will now be the aspect of the Green Dragonflight. And everyone's sort of going, what the hell's the point? You bring her back and now she's no longer the thing? Fuck! Ysera, her story isn't over. Her story...
Oh, no. I mean, we haven't even touched by what happened to her when the Winter Queen gave personally of her anima. Like, this is an eternal one. Something made in Zereth Mortis specifically gave of herself to bring Ysera back. Like, I think people don't realize the importance of who the anima came from in that quest line.
You're close.
It wasn't just...
You're close. I'm not going to give away the plot of my next video, but here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. Take what you just said there, right? The Winter Queen, she's the one that infused her own anima into Ysera. Then take the words of the Winter Queen. This is my sister's pet. Right? This is of my sister. Her sister's pet. Ysera comes back, she's changed. she's changed so much that she can no longer be the green dragon aspect. She is now inside the dream, which, even in Dragonflight, they take the tier into the dream so that Elune can watch over it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, and she's not just part of the dream now. She's part of the back side of it, of Ardenweld.
She's part of the entire cycle.
Yep.
That's all I'll say about that.
I'll stop so I don't tease anything else out of you. I'll pull a Shamagi up. They're the next one.
Cool.